Who's being overhyped and who are the masses completely missing out on? Today, we look at both. Every NFL draft class consists of several highly touted prospects that never end up reaching their full potential, and also plenty of guys who totally outperformed their expectations. The stacked 2021 NFL draft class isn't lacking in boomer bust prospects, nor some hidden gems that will perform much better than you think. Here are 5 2021 promising NFL draft prospects that could be busts, and 5 overlooked guys who could be major steals. Bust. Justin Fields. The Ohio State quarterback will go early in the first round, maybe as high as 3rd overall. Many expect him to be the 3rd quarterback taken behind Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. Hey, there's no denying Fields' world-class abilities. He checks off most of the boxes you look for in a franchise quarterback. But unlike Lawrence, Fields isn't quite a sure thing to succeed. In terms of physical tools, everything is there. Size, athleticism, mobility, and arm release. But Fields tends to panic against the blitz, and that usually causes bad decision-making for young QBs at the NFL level. Although his interception numbers were low, Fields often struggled to read defenses, and that can lead to high-risk, low-percentage throws. You see this all the time in the NFL, so Fields will have to learn how to adapt, and quickly. If Fields goes to a team that fails to surround him with a steady offensive line and quality supporting cast, the mistakes will come in plenty. He needs strong pass protection and a coach who will teach him to make the smart plays. You know, throwing the ball away, taking a sack when you have no other option, etc. That's all easier said than done. Fields could totally be a franchise-changing quarterback, but he could also be one of the biggest QB busts in recent memory. One team will be happy to take that chance. Steal. Kyle Trask. The 2020 Heisman Trophy finalist pieced together a monster year in his final season at Florida. Trask tossed 4,283 passing yards and 43 touchdowns against only 8 interceptions, leading the Gators to a Cotton Bowl Classic appearance, where they fell to the Oklahoma Sooners. But Trask isn't considered to be in the first tier of top 2021 QB prospects. Lawrence is in that class himself. The next tier has Fields, Wilson, Trey Lance, and Mac Jones. He's limited in terms of mobility, but Trask has the look of a traditional downfield passer. The arm, overall accuracy, and slick releases are all there. Trask is highly unlikely to be a first-round pick. He'll likely be a 2nd or 3rd round guy, and understandably so. Unlike the top QB prospects, Trask won't be ready to start in the NFL right away. He needs some grooming and mentoring. But if Trask lands with the right team, he could totally be one of the draft's top steals. We love the idea of Trask going to a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, with Ben Roethlisberger likely retiring after the 2021 season, or even the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have a prime opportunity to find Tom Brady's eventual successor. Trask will be a project, but if the stars line up, he can be a franchise quarterback with the right team. Absolutely worth taking a chance on in round 2 or 3. Bust. Caleb Farley. It was basically a coin flip between Farley and Patrick Surtain II in regards to which cornerback would be selected first. But now, Surtain feels like a slam dunk. Farley has the ridiculous talent and skill set to be a top 20 draft pick, but there are injury concerns here. He underwent off-season back surgery, which will likely lead to him falling in the draft. Think of Marshawn Lattimore, by far a top 5 prospect in the 2017 draft, who fell to the New Orleans Saints at number 11 overall. The Virginia Tech product missed the entire 2017 season after suffering an ACL tear. He also opted out of the 2020 campaign because of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. So you're basing evaluations on a guy who last played 2 seasons ago. We don't have enough game film on Farley to project him as a safe pick compared to Surtain, a virtual lock to succeed. The guess here is that Farley pans out as a Pro Bowl talent should he stay healthy. But the injuries, coupled with the fact that he only played 2 seasons of college football, means he's a very risky pick. Throw him in the boom or bust category. Steal, Asante Samuel Jr. The elder Asante Samuel was a major home run steal by the New England Patriots, who landed him with the 120th overall selection in round 4 back in 2003. The two-time first-team All-Pro helped the Patriots win back-to-back Super Bowls in the 2003 and 2004 seasons. Now, can his son, Asante Samuel Jr., follow those footsteps and also become a Pro Bowler and big-time draft steal? Aside from Samuel Jr., Surtain, and Farley, the 2021 draft has several other highly touted corners: J.C. Horn, Greg Newsome II, Elijah Molden, and Aaron Robinson, among others. This deep class means that one or more of these guys could end up being total steals. Samuel Jr. especially excels as a ball hawker just like his father, and if he finds the right team, Samuel will be in a position to succeed right away. Looking at you, Seattle Seahawks and New Orleans Saints. Wouldn't surprise us if Samuel wound up being a top 2 cornerback in this class. There's definitely a good chance he goes late in round 1, but also a high chance he falls into round 2. If Samuel falls down the order and has to wait until day 2 to hear his name, not to worry. He should do just fine wherever he lands. Some team out there will come away very happy with him. Bust, Mac Jones. The Alabama quarterback has seen his stock rise leading up to the draft. He's widely projected to be a top 15 selection, with many expecting Jones to go as high as number 3 overall to the San Francisco 49ers. Jones has most of the tools to succeed at the NFL level, but the two-time national champion doesn't come without concerns. Unlike some of the other top quarterbacks in this class, Trevor Lawrence, Lance, and Fields, Jones doesn't have the mobility and athleticism that teams are often looking for. Today's top young quarterbacks, think Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Kyler Murray, can make plays with their legs. Jones doesn't have that ability, so that's naturally cause for concern. It is pivotal that he lands in the right system here. San Francisco, New Orleans, and New England make sense here. But what if he went somewhere like Denver, Carolina, or Atlanta without a steady offensive line? Jones will only be as good as the coach and team around him. He'd be worthy of a gamble in the mid to late first round. But if he goes in the top 10, well, that's an extremely risky pick. To us, there are safer quarterbacks to choose from. Steal, Jordan Smith. Take a look at mock drafts and 2021 prospect rankings all over the internet. There are plenty of lists that exclude UAB defensive end Jordan Smith from the top 100. Playing at a small school has a lot to do with Smith's draft value. Not to mention, he only played 21 games over his 2 years at UAB. But the production speaks for itself. 23.5 total tackles for loss, 12.5 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. You most likely won't see Smith taken by the end of round 2, and he might even go uncalled in round 3, but he'll be a wonderful value pick in the 4th or 5th round on a team looking to beef up its pass rush and run defense. This isn't to say that Smith is a bona fide superstar in the making, but he can be an effective starter right away. Even though the sample size is fairly small, there's a lot to love about his game. The size, the physicality, and ability to consistently make impact plays in the front 7. It's all there. Absolutely worth taking a chance on here. Bust, Gregory Rousseau. Rousseau only has 1 full season of college football on his resume. He played just 1 game in 2018 and opted out of the 2020 campaign because of the pandemic. But Rousseau's monster 2019 season was dominant enough to the point where he's expected to be a mid to late first round selection. That year, Rousseau racked up 15.5 sacks and 19.5 tackles for loss to go along with 2 forced fumbles. Those are insanely good numbers. His athleticism and strength is there. But again, it's just so hard to get a full read on a guy after 1 season. Just understand where the skepticism comes from. He'll be 21 years of age in his rookie year. He's a full season removed from football. And again, it's gonna come down to the development or lack thereof by the team that takes Rousseau. For instance, what if he goes to a team like the Jacksonville Jaguars, New York Giants, Atlanta Falcons, or New York Jets? Teams that have had bad histories of wasting high-end picks on defensive players that seemingly had limitless potential. We wouldn't be the least bit shocked if Rousseau quickly silenced the doubters and emerged as a star right away. But if anyone invests a top 20 selection in him, they're risking aplenty. Who knows if he's the real deal, or if his 1 college season was a mirage? Thankfully, we're not the GMs who have to make that call. Steal, Trey Brown. As we noted earlier, this is a cornerback-heavy class. It just might be the deepest position of the 2021 draft, and so Asante Samuel Jr. isn't the only potential cornerback steal to watch closely. The same applies to Oklahoma Sooners standout Trey Brown, another under-the-radar prospect. Brown is listed as 5'10" and 186 pounds, which is undersized for an NFL cornerback standards. And though he only tallied 4 interceptions, Brown racked up 31 passes defended over 4 college seasons. So the size and lack of INTs may be noteworthy to GMs. But hey, former All-Pro Chris Harris Jr., also listed at 5'10", has shut down several of the NFL's top corners over the years. Size isn't everything in football. He's got excellent speed, and as a bonus, can perform on a team's special teams return unit. Even if Brown doesn't cut it as a starting cornerback, he can be a nice kick/punt returning weapon. But we'd take a chance on Brown to shine as a cornerback. Don't worry about the size. He makes up for it with his wheels and thus can keep up with most wideouts. And again, the ball hawking abilities are there. Bust. Najee Harris. We love Najee Harris's game and wouldn't be the least bit surprised if he became a top 5 NFL running back within 3 years. But he's on this list because, well, teams should simply stop taking running backs so early. Saquon Barkley was viewed as a generational prospect when the New York Giants took him 2nd overall in 2018. Even when he's been on the field, Barkley's talents haven't been enough to change the franchise's fortunes. The Jacksonville Jaguars whiffed on the Leonard Fournette pick too. Just look at the majority of the top running backs: Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook, David Montgomery, and Aaron Jones. All taken after the 1st round. So nobody, absolutely nobody, should make Harris an early to mid 1st round pick. Yes, Harris had 30 total touchdowns in his final season at Alabama. He's a powerful running back who can take over a game any day, if all goes right. But why should a team risk a pick on a position where guys can be found anywhere? If Harris is a late 1st or 2nd round pick, we won't complain. But if he goes early in round 1, we won't love the pick. This isn't the draft to reach for a running back. Steal. Davis Mills. Mills' value skyrocketed following his phenomenal pro day performance. Suddenly, you're looking at a true sleeper pick here. Mills only appeared in 14 games during his tenure with the Stanford Cardinals, so it's easy to understand why teams aren't viewing him as a 1st-round talent. It is a very small sample size compared to the other elite QB prospects, but the game film doesn't lie. Mills tossed 1,508 yards and posted 139.9 rating in his final season of college football. But the game film doesn't lie. Mills tossed 1,508 yards and posted a 139.9 rating in his final season of college football. He isn't very mobile compared to other top QB prospects in this class, but his size, arm, and pinpoint accuracy are hard to ignore. Mills is mostly a sleeper here because, well, this is a fairly deep quarterback class. But like Kyle Trask, Mills could shine if he lands in the right place. He will need a couple of years to develop, so he should be an intriguing prospect for teams with an aging quarterback. Don't let the small sample size fool you. The kid can play. Someone will make note of that at some point during the draft. What other 2021 NFL draft prospects could be busts, and which ones could be steals? Let us know in the comments section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton, and hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.